Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's show, the Wellbeing Show, brought to you by Bestel Foundation. And we're here live on Diversity Radio. We're streaming on Facebook and on YouTube. I have my co-host with me, Miss Jackie Obeng, the amazing Miss Jackie Obeng.
Hey.
But before she gets talking, I just wanted to remind you guys that it's Mental Health Week. So it's a good time to reflect on your own mental health this week. We're going to be discussing abuse and the different types of abuse today. So it's going to be quite interesting. I'm sure it's going to broaden your mind and make you think. So as I said, we're in the studio, Diversity Radio, and we're late, and we're very sorry about that. We had a bit of technical issues, but as they say, it's better late than never. So as I said, we're in the studio, yes, my guest, she's going to kill me. I'm always getting it wrong. Yeah, my co-host, Miss Jackie Obeng, is going to take over.
Okay. Hi, good evening, people. How's everyone doing? Okay, I'm Jacqueline, and we're back here again, the Wellbeing Show, brought to you by Diversity Radio. We represent a Bestel Child and Psychiatric Foundation. And, this week being Mental Health Week, we decided to come to you again and obviously share our thoughts about how you can manage your well-being. So, Eva, how was your week?
My week was very hectic. Mm-hmm. Well, we're midweek, so
yeah.
What do they call it?
Happy midweek, apparently.
Or Hump Wednesday.
Hump Wednesday? It's a happy midweek, I've been hearing.
Happy midweek?
Yeah.
Okay, happy midweek.
Yeah.
But yeah, my weekend was good. I went to the Ghana Music Awards.
Hey,
I know that's what you want to hear. That's what you want to hear.
So yes,
I went to the Ghana Music Awards. It was quite good.
Fabulous. What happened there? You're going to tell us about what happened?
Nothing happened. They tried their best. What can I say? Slightly unorganized, but it was a great show, and I was happy to see artists like Mesbel. I missed my favorite artist at the moment, Famia, because I had to leave to go and watch the boxing.
Okay.
I had to go and watch Tyson Fury. I love boxing.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I left, but Diana Hamilton. I love Diana Hamilton, so it was good seeing her live. Fabulous. It was a nice vibe. We were close to the stage, VIP table. Couldn't complain.
Ooh.
It was nice.
Interesting.
So why didn't I see you there?
Okay, so I was almost there, and something came up. So unfortunately, I missed it. But then I caught the whole show online. I could see Diana doing her thing. I saw Miss Bell doing her thing. Is it medical and medical and wifey doing their thing?
I love them as a couple, actually. They're quite cute.
They look interesting. And many other artists. So it looked good. Good. A lot of Ghanaians turned up, which was, a good thing.
Yeah, it was a packed house. In the beginning, it looked a bit like, But then, us, we're always late. That's the problem.
I know, Ghanaians apparently started at 9:30, isn't it?
Later than that, actually.
Was it?
Yeah. I think around 10-ish.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So, that was a bit of, getting the stress off a little bit. Did you do all the makeup, the hair?
Yeah, I did everything. That's when I go out, that's a normal thing. So I didn't do anything spectacular, but I added a little bit of glitter on top of my eyelids, which is a new thing for me.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this weekend, what's up this weekend then?
I'm going to take it easy because I need to, think about my mental health. And, we were talking about balance the other day.
Of course.
I need to relax and, spend time with the children. So this weekend I'm staying in.
Fabulous. 100%. So you're looking after your, obviously, emotional and...
Exactly.
Psychological part of you. So those of, who guys have just joined us for the first time, last week we talked about how you can, maintain your well-being. We talked about what well-being was. We also talked about the importance of well-being and the 4 dimensions of well-being. So just to recap quickly, we talked about how important it is to take care of your well-being. How do you know that you're staying well-being? The 4 areas as well where the psychological well-being, social well-being, the emotional and spiritual well-being. So it was 2 weeks ago. So if you're interested, you can go back and go and play it over on
the
Facebook.
show's still on.
The show's still on.
It's still on Diversity Radio's page.
So this week, as Miss NEWLOVE has just said to you, we will be talking about abuse. Now, the reason that we chose abuse is it's very critical that you are aware about, an abuse being happening to you, because it's part of, maintaining your state of mind or your whole well-being. In general, so you need to be aware about these areas. But before we dwell into the topics, we just want to introduce Bestel Foundation, who is bringing this program to you. Is a charitable organization registered both in the UK and in Ghana. Our main aims is to address the stigma of mental health within the Black African minority and the ethnic group, which is the BAME community. We want to raise awareness within our community because, a majority of us do not understand mental health. They hear about mental health and obviously they panic, but it's about taking care of your well-being, providing interventions to the community, supporting their well-being, obviously the entire BAME community. Bestel is a large team within the group. Currently, we've got about 5 or 6 of our team in Accra. Obviously, October, first week in October, second week October is a mental health well-being week. So they've gone to Ghana, obviously, to support families in Ghana. So they're a large team where they deal with people suffering from well-being issues.
Hi, my name's Miss NEWLOVE, and I'm the host of a brand new show, The Wellbeing Show, brought to you by Bestel Foundation. Every week on a Wednesday at 8 to 9 p.m.
in addition
on
to
Diversity Radio.
their hard work
Bestel
and
Foundation is a
efforts, here in
registered
the
mental
UK,
health
they deliver the
charity,
same service.
registered in the United Kingdom and in
to
Ghana.
people suffering
In the
with their
United
well-being,
Kingdom,
mental health, with
Bestel
young
Foundation
people,
is dedicated to narrowing
OAPs, which is
inequities
older people
in mental
in
health
the middle ages.
provisions
So
within
they
the
cater
Black
for the
and
whole,
ethnic minority
obviously,
community through a program
within
of
the,
generating
BAME
awareness,
we
preventative.
want to bring the awareness to our community, and it's very important. The values, I've got a few values that I wanted to go through so that you know that this charitable business really cater for the community. They reach to anybody within the community. They're very independent. If we say independent, they work with obviously limited funds, so we really appreciate the support. However, they've got links with other partnerships. So we've got link with the NHS and other privatized local organizations, as you say, where they help. They basically the resource day-to-day functional facilities in here, the UK and Ghana. So meaning that they do staffing training and also support the facilities within the areas. And also skills training and workshops within both UK and in Accra. Their visions are to enhance awareness again, as I said, within mental health, especially improving in the inclusion within our community. And the stigma is really important because our communities are still learning that, it is a stigma within our community, meaning that they do not want to talk about it. They're about taken aback by the word mental health. So we want to address that stigma in that community. Also, we've got a collection of professionals that collaborate within here in Ghana that they work alongside. We've got specialists and mental health nurses. Today, we don't have a guest. It's just me and Miss NEWLOVE here. And we're just going to have a discussion. So we would like for you to join in with us. So we are streaming live on Facebook. And I think we're on YouTube as well. We've got our producer here, Big Joe. So thank you for waiting for us, Big Joe. He's been here an hour waiting for us. So, Miss NEWLOVE, I'm done. That's it. So
I'm going to continue. So I'm just going to keep it flowing. Mm-hmm. Bestel Foundation, Bestel Child and Adult Psychiatric Foundation are committed to ensuring accessibility of their services either via their website, various social media platforms like we're here today, or alternatively, you can catch the team on the following telephone numbers. So, for further assistance, you can contact our founder, Stella, on 07508 026 641. Christabel on 07872 616 366. Hilda on 07578 531710. And lastly, Marion on 07946 595 152. The website where you can find out all the information on Bestel is www.bestelfoundation.org. We're also on Facebook, Bestel Foundation. On Instagram, it's Bestel Cap, CAPH. And the same on Twitter, Bestel Cap, CAPH. And as Jackie said, we are live on Facebook and YouTube via Diversity Radio. And, you know, we have to mention our sponsors and partners. Our sponsors are NHS, South London and Maudsley, and the National Lottery Community Fund. Our partners are BASE, which is, you know, owned by our very own Jackie. BASE, Becoming a Successful Entrepreneur. 60 Seconds Creative Studio, and also Gold Diggers Talk Show, which belongs to myself, and then our consultant, which is Insight. So yes, those are our sponsors and partners.
Fabulous. So we are streaming live on Facebook via Diversity Radio. At the moment, we're on YouTube, but we're not on Mixcloud like we were aiming to be. We are here every fortnight. However, next week we've got Pavali. Are you going to be here, Miss Lunov, next week?
I believe so. And just to remind everyone that we also have a phone line for the studio, which is 07951 46338. I'll repeat that. It's 07951 46338. And we do have to acknowledge our patron, who is Mr. Peter Hassler, who's been working with Bestel for the last 5 years. He's a mental health specialist and a former NHS director for nursing. And as I mentioned, he's been with Bestel for 5 years. Also, Dr. Shusham Gupta, who's a patron. Mrs. Lauren Cullingham, who's a psychologist. I believe she's in Ghana as well, isn't it?
She
Having
is.
the time of her life. We've seen all the videos, Lauren. Dr. Justina Shear Patwaska, consultant psychiatrist. Nashuro Mamori, who is the Real Insight Consultant. Sorry, I said Insight Consultant before. It's Real Insight Consultant. And George Besser Simons, who is the country coordinator for Ghana. And he's doing an amazing job with the Bestel team right now as we speak in Ghana.
Fabulous, fabulous. So, remember, guys, the Wellbeing Show is an interactive show. And as we mentioned, obviously, we're live on Facebook. We haven't got anybody with us except us in the studio. So we would like to remind you guys that we are not mental health specialists. So we are part of the team. We're sort of, so what are we with Bestel?
We're the hosts.
We're hosts, but I actually...
Yeah, Jackie plays a role,
yeah,
so let everyone know what you actually...
Well, with Bestel, I do communications.
So you are.
Yeah, and you're the host for Bestel.
Yes.
Okay, but then there's about 15 other staff who we've got caterers. We've got about 8 nurses, mental staff nurses.
Clinical
We've
workers,
got Big Joe here, who's our
technician.
IT technician.
And our DJ.
And our DJ. So when we're doing our inauguration, he gracefully played all the songs for us to dance. So he's our fabulous DJ.
Without him, basically, we can't function.
And also, we want to thank all the family and friends that joined us last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was fun, wasn't it?
They were fabulous, and we are hoping that I am hoping that They join us again this week. So, Sari, wherever you are, can you come out of the house now or in the bedroom? Junior was great. Rosemary was great.
Yeah.
Who else was out there? Beatrice was great. Sikaba and Gina. Okay, everybody. Stella, come and support us.
Yeah, I mean, they're online now.
Are they online?
Said, good evening, ladies. Rosemary said, good evening, ladies. Our
Okay.
very own Peter said, good to see and hear you both.
Fabulous.
So our patrons tuned in. Thank you so much.
Oh, we've got newbies. Ethel's on there.
You're so happy.
So Ethel's on there. So, yes. Make sure you call us or you text us on 07951 463 338. That's the Diversity Studio number. So, we're going to just dwell into the...
Yeah, we're going to
go have the interlude, isn't it?
Yes. Have a little break and we'll be back shortly with our topic today, which is abuse. Hi, my name's Miss NEWLOVE and I'm the host of a brand new show, The Wellbeing Show, brought to you by Bestell Foundation, every week on a Wednesday at 8 to 9 p.m. on Diversity Radio. Bestell Foundation is a registered mental health charity, registered in the United Kingdom and in Ghana. In the United Kingdom, Bestell Foundation is dedicated to narrowing inequities in mental health provisions within the Black and ethnic minority community through a program of generating awareness, preventative support and delivering positive interventions to improve outcomes of individuals from Black and minority ethnic communities with mental health problems in London. In Ghana, Bestell Foundation travel to Ghana every year in October within Mental Health Week with clinicians from various NHS trusts in the UK to support mental health hospitals, military hospitals. We're back. Yes, we are back. That was quite a short interlude. So as I mentioned before, our topic today is abuse. Now, when you say abuse, you might think, what is abuse? I mean, there's different types of abuse. There's physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse, neglect abuse, discriminatory abuse, modern slavery, organizational abuse, which is also known as institutionalized abuse, and religious and spiritual abuse. That's going to be a very interesting one.
That's why we left it to the last, isn't
Yes.
it? It will be quite an intense conversation about that one. So, abuse. What do we know about abuse?
Well, the definition of abuse, to start off with, just so that we have a clearer understanding of the word, is the improper usage or treatment of a thing, often to unfairly or improperly gain benefit. Abuse can come in many forms, such as physical or verbal maltreatment, injury, assault, violation, rape, unjust practices, crime, or other types of aggression, which kind of, goes back to the different types of abuse that we're going to cover.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, when you think about abuse, first of all, what comes to mind? What do you think about abuse?
I think when you think of abuse, you think of domestic abuse.
Yeah.
I think that's the first type of abuse, or sexual abuse, because they're the common ones, isn't it? So you think of domestic or sexual, I think.
Yes. I also think about...
I have to say me. I can't say for the listeners, but for myself, that's what I would think.
When I think about abuse, I think about, hitting. That comes to mind straight away, And then, over time, you think about, emotional abuse.
Yes.
You have to think about it.
Yes.
What is emotional abuse, And then, financial. I didn't even think financial abuse was available, but is some sort of an abuse.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to all these abuses, I actually learnt about them when I studied health and social care, which was, donkeys years ago in college. So before that, like we just mentioned, I would have thought of abuse straight away as domestic violence.
Yes. exactly. And also another interesting one was violation. How would you think violation is an abuse?
You wouldn't really think that, would you?
Yeah. So can you think about, how somebody will be violated? And how is that an abuse? Just in case somebody's watching and they can't understand, what do they mean by violation? How is that an abuse? How would you understand that? How would you understand that?
Sorry, are you speaking to me?
Yeah.
Violation. I mean, violation comes in many forms, doesn't it? So,
so
it's kind of violation kind of works in all these type of abuses we're going to talk about.
Okay, but then we can give examples. So, for example, I could give you. You can just think about examples. So, for example, you're in a house with some visitors, and it's just a common example. You're in a shower and somebody just opened the door and they come in. That's some of a subtle
violation.
That's it. So those are typical examples that you can think about. So for example, that could be an abuse. And I think it's an accident that they've just opened the door without you locking it. But then in some ways they violated you.
Yeah.
Your privacy.
Yes.
You see. So it's a form of an abuse. So if such little things are happening,
if they're doing it knowingly,
that's it. Knowingly, then it's an abuse. But most times, some young people are being abused in that way.
Yes.
And it just carry on, and they don't know that they're being abused. So, it has to be addressed. How about unjust? So all these are examples of abuse. So verbal maltreatment. What about verbal? Those like insults. So, for example, you're, cussing your child every single time.
That's very serious.
It's very serious.
I'm sure we've all done that,
Yeah. So
those are verbal abuse.
Yeah, those are
because there's telling off and then there's abuse.
There's abuse. So like in our community, we do abuse the kids all the time without realizing it. So obviously we'll say, you're silly, you're stupid, or you're a fool.
Yeah. Are you dumb?
Are you dumb?
Which is, are you stupid?
Do you see what I mean? So all those things are forms of abuse. Yeah. So,
verbal
abuse. Yeah, verbal. And then the physical would be obviously kicking, hitting, pushing, etc.
Yes.
What about assault?
Assault is abuse, like physically, like attacking someone, beating someone up, or, your children, your spouse.
Yeah. Yeah,
in the pub or at a party, wherever it may be.
Okay.
Physically attacking someone is abuse.
Right. So, for example, you're out with your boyfriend or some friends and all of a sudden they just slap you.
Of course.
It is an assault. So, they should be aware that all these things contribute to, types of abuse, which obviously does affect your well-being.
Yeah.
So you need to be obviously wary about that. So that is basically abuse. So now that
physical. I think so we kind of went into physical. We kind of went off into physical abuse. So we might,
Yeah, but I was just going to say, obviously now we have addressed
actual abuse.
The examples of the different sorts of abuse and the meaning of abuse that obviously could be harmful to you. These areas, obviously, you're going to start with the physical, then we're going to go through the emotional, then the sexual. So sexual is one, financial is another, neglect. That's quite interesting.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, neglect.
It's one that, I've come to know about more recently.
Okay, so you're going to tell us about that. Discriminatory abuse, and then religious and spiritual, and then probably modern slavery and organizational abuse.
Yes.
So you can take it up. Start with the physical abuse. Tell us about physical abuse.
Well, physical abuse is when someone physically hurts you, as we explained. And examples of that is hitting, like you said, kicking, pulling of hair, even pinching. Mm-hmm. Have you ever been pinched before by your mum?
I can't. No, not really.
By anyone. You've never been pinched.
No.
Your mum never pinched you.
No.
I'm making my mum sound bad.
She will shout, but not pinch.
Okay. So, some people don't see pinching as abuse.
Okay, but it is.
It's abuse.
Definitely. It's abuse.
And shaking. I mean, some people have even shaked their children to death.
Yeah.
Not, not by not realizing, out of anger.
Exactly.
So shaking is also a form of physical abuse. Or giving someone too much medication.
Right.
Which is quite interesting.
Very interesting.
That's a very interesting one.
So, for example, obviously, they've picked up the wrong medication, or they've purposely.
No, purposely, because it comes under physical abuse. You're doing it purposely. So even a lot, it happens a lot in like care institutions, even in the hospitals. I've heard a story of when a nurse just wanted peace and quiet and gave a patient overdose.
Oh,
so that's physical abuse. Comes under physical abuse, which is quite interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So, have you heard of any stories like that?
That's what I'm telling you. I've heard of it, like especially in mental health. Mental health hospital on the wards and stuff. A lot of you hear these stories as we're conversating about it. It's an example.
It's an example.
So for those that work, in mental health wards and stuff like that, just giving your patient a little bit of an overdose is a form of abuse.
Wow, interesting one. So then we're going to move on to the next one, sexual abuse.
Yes.
Do you want to go through that?
So sexual abuse is when someone makes you do something sexual that makes you sad and, angry or frightened. Sexual abuse is being touched where you do not want to be touched, such as your private parts, your bum, your breasts, your penis or vagina, or being made to touch other people in these places, and you don't want to do that. So people slapping your bum is a form of abuse, and it's happened to me quite a few times, and it's not nice. It's really not nice when someone just slaps your bum while your bum's big, or your bum's nice, but you're actually abusing someone when you're doing that. It sounds, funny, but it's actually, if the person doesn't want you to do that,
it's uncomfortable.
And you don't know what people have been through.
Yeah.
And what triggers.
That's it.
Things.
Those memories
or whatever, it could trigger anything, just, touching someone inappropriately. So, I mean, this conversation is quite good because it allows you to think, because I'm sure we've even done it unknowingly. We've seen our friend, slap.
Whatever.
And then Ya's probably thinking,
why are you doing that?
But she doesn't want to say anything. So we just have to think about, before we do things, because some of these things that we do could be
a form of an abuse.
And we're just talking about it subtly because we don't want to go too deep.
Of course. Obviously we have to remind people that we're not, obviously professionals in that area. But obviously the little research we've done, we do know that if you're having, any sexual relations with people or, someone, and it is uncomfortable for you, you are frightened or scared, then obviously it's some type of an abuse.
Definitely. And if it's affecting you mentally as well, Bestel is also here to help with this. This is why we're doing this show, to allow you to understand, all these type of things, anything that affects your well-being. Bestel's here to help you and lead you in the right direction. So Stella says, in our Ghanaian community, abuse is very common, even in the matrimonial homes. That's quite interesting.
Oh, okay. So because she's in that field, we wish, she was here to elaborate on that, to be quite honest, because I can just, think that maybe, a common thing would be, you're too tired and you don't want to have sex at that time, and you're being forced into, the activity. Maybe it would be an abuse.
Yes, it is abuse. Just because you're married to someone or in a relationship with someone, I mean, it doesn't mean you always have to have sex with them, or you always have to, give your... do you understand?
Exactly.
But I think all these forms of abuse we're going to talk about, they're kind of interrelate. Like they can happen in the home.
Yes.
They can happen. Yes. They can happen. It can happen anywhere.
Anywhere.
So as we're speaking about each one of them, you'll kind of be able to relate them to us. Yes, I'm sure someone listening, it will trigger off something. It will, even financial abuse takes place a lot in the home.
Yes, exactly. So that's good to know. So the emotional abuse, it's quite interesting. So when people say bad things to hurt your feelings,
Yes.
Shout at you or threaten you. And obviously, some examples would be people calling you some interesting names, laughing at you, blaming you for things, when things are not your fault, treating you like a child, trying to undermine you, ignoring you. I didn't know it was an abuse.
It's all abuse.
If somebody ignores you, it's an abuse.
It is.
Really? Wow, interesting. So, see,
especially when they know that you need them. When someone knows that you need them and they ignore you,
right,
and they know it's going to affect you mentally,
right.
So it's in a form, because it's control. So it's a form of an
abuse.
Of abuse, yeah.
Okay, so if you're in a workplace or in a relationship or dealing with somebody, and obviously they're ignoring you, I wouldn't like that. I'll just cut you off.
Especially in the workplace. I mean,
yeah,
we're gonna talk about institutional
ones.
Yeah,
I'll just cut you off because you're not worth being, somebody I want to be close to, because I have to listen to you, so you should listen to me, basically.
So Stella's got a lot to say. Our founder has a lot to say. Considering she's in Ghana, she has a lot to say today. So she said our parents,
right,
which is true. Like, parents unknowingly can abuse their children in so many ways, without going into it too much, But yes, verbally and even physically, and sometimes sexual abuse does take place. Unfortunately, very sad. It happens a lot. Edwina Esaidu says, wow, it's so common in African households. We don't even see it as abuse.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's true. We're abused so much, or we go through so much different types of abuse. We don't even see it as, because sometimes if you don't know, or if you don't have these conversations,
how would you know?
Exactly.
Especially somebody ignoring you can be a form of abuse.
Yes.
People ignore a lot of people in the community.
A lot.
Yeah, so obviously
and because we cover the BAME community,
yes,
it's not just in African households, because I've heard about it even in Asian households, how this happens as well. A lot of the things we're talking about happens.
Okay.
Laughing
at you. That's quite interesting. People laugh.
You're always laughing at me. Are you abusing me?
I'm always laughing.
No, I'm joking.
I know, but laughing at you. Wow.
Yeah, it is, because if you go back to your childhood when you were in school, and the bully would always want people to laugh at you, would always be laughing at you.
If you're bullied. So if you're bullied, right, and people are laughing, that's a different thing. But if you haven't done anything, and
it's still, you're joining.
Do you see what I mean?
No, you're joining in the abuse, because if you see someone being bullied and you're laughing, or if I don't know, like when we were in primary school, whatever, we used to, like, when somene's cussing you, or say your mum's this and your dad's that, or you're this or you're that, and then the other people that are laughing, you're joining in the abuse, because
they're supporting.
They're supporting.
See, and then blaming you for things all the time, so you can't defend yourself. And that's why I'll probably turn it into an argument with that person. Because I can't take the blame. And it's quite interesting, actually. Emotional abuse. So, on the flip side.
Emotional abuse can be very dangerous. Because when people emotionally abuse you, it can lead you to abuse yourself.
Yes. Where you're isolating yourself. You don't get involved anymore.
So even the neglect, like it starts to trigger off
different areas,
neglect,
Exactly. Okay, so go ahead. Financial abuse.
That's
quite an interesting one.
Yeah, financial abuse is very interesting, because it can happen. I mean, I could relate it more to work, but I don't want to disclose where I work. So, but when you're working with vulnerable adults, a lot of financial abuse takes place, because you have to handle, their finances for them. But financial abuse, like I said, can also happen in the home. It can happen in business, in your joint ventures.
Right.
Especially like we're talking about our community. Financial abuse takes place a lot.
Yes. So an example, if you can give us an example.
An example, like, I don't know, maybe you're supposed to buy products and your business partner has said to you, okay, you take care of it. You take care. And he was like, how much is it? You know, and then you tell him this thing costs £50, but really it costs 20.
Right.
That's financial abuse.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking of a way to gain more money.
Yes.
For your own pocket.
Of course.
So you're thinking of how to take money out of the business for your own pocket. And you're abusing your business partner because he or she has no idea.
Yeah, they're weak.
Not that they're weak. They just they wouldn't think because you're their business partner. It's like me and you selling jewelry together.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm the one that takes care of the money more. You're the one that does more of the social media, the creative stuff. I do the business because there's always one who's stronger in one area.
Yeah.
So the one that's probably the business minded one focus on the money aspect of the business, the financial, the inventory and logistics and all that.
Yeah.
They abuse the other one without them realizing.
Okay.
So that
falls under abuse.
That falls under financial abuse. Because it says stealing your money, being forced to pay for other people's things.
So this happens in our community.
That even happens in friendships.
Yeah.
Going out with your friend all the time. Your friend's always paying.
We need to tell the community.
Your friend's always paying. That friend that's always paying.
Is paying, yeah.
And you don't pay for nothing.
You need to alternate the bill most of the time. So when you're paying all the time, then I am abusing you financially.
It falls under.
Yeah, it falls under it. And also,
Joe's laughing.
Yeah,
but it's true.
Yeah,
I mean, we have to be real. You
have to be real. Also, our community, we like to borrow money a lot. So I've known so many people where said, "Oh, please, I haven't got money. My rent is due. Could you please borrow me £1,000?" And that's it.
You don't pay the money.
They don't pay the money back
because they know you have the money.
Yeah.
So because they know that you make good money, they just assume that you wouldn't need your money back.
Or they're just basically,
or they have no intentions of paying
back. They're thieves in disguise.
Yeah, that is financial abuse.
Yeah. Okay, so neglect, because this is your area.
Neglect is when your care or support is not enough to meet your needs. Neglect can be feeling cold most of the time, being hungry most of the time, having dirty clothes to wear, being put in danger. So, I mean...
This happens in schools a lot.
It happens in schools.
All the time.
You're a teacher.
Yeah, so we pick up on these things because obviously we're the first... point of contact for them when their parents drop them on, or especially with secondary, they come in themselves. And obviously early morning we see them in forms and they stink. Yes, they haven't had showers for days, and
because of puberty
it just alarms you. Obviously, especially when it's in the winter. They won't shower for days. They wore the same shirt,
and the shirt
and you can
is brown,
see it's all brown. And then that is when you can tell that this is a safeguarding issue.
Yes,
you see what I mean.
That's when it becomes a safeguarding. So I think with
issue.
Neglect abuse, it's a lot to do with safeguarding.
It's a lot to do with safeguarding, but it could happen in homes as well.
It does, yes. Yeah. But safeguarding is protecting people in schools, in care homes, in homes, like anywhere.
Everywhere.
It's not just about,
everywhere. You could be with your mum and dad as a child.
Yes.
And there are neglect.
Yes.
And obviously, again...
They're not doing things in the home. Like, if you start talking about these things, people are really going to think, because times like back in the day and it was freezing cold, your parents didn't put the heating on. Because they're trying to... They don't
save the cost.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a form of that's neglect.
That's it.
Not dressing your children the right way, not buying them the appropriate clothing to wear when it's winter or summer. That's neglect.
That's neglect.
And a lot of people abuse their parents, or elderly people suffer from neglect abuse a lot,
obviously, because they're elderly.
Yes.
They've been left in the care home, and therefore people need to now look after them because obviously the families have neglected them.
And also, as we deal with well-being and mental health, a lot of people that have mental health issues get neglected as well. Yeah.
So, example, if you're depressed, or you're stressed,
they can self-neglect or be neglected by their carers or workers,
or by their families, because they wouldn't know that they're going through that that problem or
Exactly.
issue, because you can easily fall into depression
Yes.
without nobody knowing. Yeah, and obviously that's put you in danger if you're being neglected all the time and there's no one there for you. So you should be aware that, you know, if you seem like you're being neglected, you need to, you know, sort of, you know, get yourself together and contact the relevant people. If, you know, can contact Estelle.
Yes.
You can contact online agencies, you know, for help, basically.
Or if you feel that you know anyone who's been abused, then
Yeah.
you just don't know how to deal with the situation. The ladies at Bestel are here to help you, like I said, and also lead you in the right direction.
Yeah, I've got Shanti on there. She's saying that there's a lot of abuse in our community where people are insensitive in what they say to people. Oh, that's an interesting thing.
That's very,
Very-
I think there's a lot of examples
Yeah.
that we can say when
Yeah.
it comes to what Shanti said.
Yeah.
You know, just saying certain things. I think it even
It falls under the verbal abuse.
Yes.
Really. Like, well, as Elia was saying that with our parents, some parents who are not educated,
Yes.
they would just call their kids with some insulting names.
like
You know, we can't say because obviously it's the BAME community.
Yes.
Because some people might not understand what we're saying. But if we translate it, you're very foolish, you're very stupid, you're not going to be up to anything. So
you're not going to amount to nothing.
amount to nothing, or you're not going to be anything, or whatever. All these negativity.
Chief of the stupid people.
Yeah, I've never heard that before.
No, if I say it, you'll know what it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, and then I don't know.
You will if I say it.
Shanti said you're fat. Could be one.
Oh, yeah. I used to get that all the time. Obolobo.
Oh,
Oh my gosh. It's not nice at all.
She just Mildred. She's got a lot on there. You know, you are pregnant.
Oh no, that's the worst one when people ask you, "Are you pregnant?" I mean, sometimes like I used to get on the bus when I was young, and people would get up, and you'd be like, "Why are they getting up for?" And when
You look pregnant.
I look pregnant because I'm wearing a big coat. You know, I'm huge, so they just assume you're pregnant. You get on the underground, and people are like, "Do you want to sit down?" And you're thinking, why are they saying, "Do you want to sit down?" Do I look like something's wrong with me?
You're pregnant, unfortunately.
That's it. You're pregnant. Or just things like, "Wow, you've gained weight." You know, your auntie will see you after years and say, "Wow,
Why can see?
you've gained so much weight." Or you're too skinny. It's like you can't win.
Which is, it
know,
is a form of abuse
it
in
is.
our community.
You know, it's really it's not good. So we hope for those that are listening to us really well understand.
Yeah. Also, I'll move on to this one. Discriminatory abuse. So people obviously say or do bad things to you at work or wherever you are. Could be school, work, the community. Treat you unfairly, okay, because you're different. So different in the UK is obviously being black. That's what
there's
what
so
they
many
think.
things because you could be black, but within our own as black people, we discriminate against ourselves because of our complexions.
Yes.
Being dark.
Finishing in 5 minutes.
Sorry.
Okay, so we have to quickly move on because we have to end the show apparently.
Oh, we got time.
Because we started late,
Started
guys.
late.
So
Okay, so let me quickly go through
Yes.
this. So, discriminatory abuse would be obviously skin color if you're in the UK. Religions happens in our community. So, being a Muslim, Jew, Christian, etc.
your disability,
Yeah, or disabled,
sexuality.
that's it. Different language, Chi, Ewe, Fanti, or because of your age. So just be aware around those things that it's an abuse. Okay, if you're suffering from any of these, it could be an abuse. Domestic abuse again would be family members, obviously treating you, in negative way, having sexual partners, obviously hitting you, forcing you to get married. That's an abuse. Okay.
I think what we're going to have to do is carry this on in our next show because it's really important that we cover everything properly and not and not
rush it. Yeah. So we'll
because
probably leave
even
it.
the religious and spiritual abuse is going
Yes.
to take up a whole hour.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
So I think the best thing for us to do is do a continuation on abuse for our next show, don't you think, Jackie?
Of course. Why not? Yeah, because we've got Pavali here next week.
Yeah.
So he can obviously continue it next week.
Yeah, and then we can go back.
You guys can go through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so we're there.
Yeah, so as I said, we're going to, continue this on our next show because it's such an interesting topic and we don't want to rush it.
Of course.
So we just want to remind you to follow us on all our social media platforms, Bestel's social media platforms, and also the website www.bestelfoundation.org.com.
On Facebook is Bestel Foundation, Instagram is Bestel CAF, Twitter is Bestel CAF as well. Make sure that you need any assistance, the Bestel team, Stella, Christabel, Hilda, and Marion. We're going to thank our sponsors as well.
Yes, who are the NHS, South London and Maudsley, and also the National Lottery Community Fund.
Thank you so much, Gold Diggers.
And Base.
Gold Diggers.
Real Insight.
Real Insight. And also, Diversity Radio.
Yes, and also 60 Seconds Creative Studio. Thank you for...
And I hope that, obviously, we have... obviously broadened some knowledge about, actually I've broadened my knowledge a bit about
it got me thinking as we were talking about it.
So I'll be keeping an eye of any of these that comes my way.
Yes.
And thank you so much, Stella, thank you, Ethel, Rosemary, who else have we got? Edwina, thank you. Who do we have? Rosemary. Okay, that's it then.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in and joining in the conversation.
Fabulous.
Until next week. You've been watching The Wellbeing Show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Miss NEWLOVE and I'm the host of a brand new show, The Wellbeing Show, brought to you by Bestel Foundation, every week on a Wednesday at 8 to 9 p.m. on Diversity Radio. Bestel Foundation is a registered mental health charity, registered in the United Kingdom and in Ghana. In the United Kingdom, Bestel Foundation is dedicated to narrowing iniquities in mental health provisions within the Black and ethnic minority community through a program of generating awareness, preventative support and delivering positive interventions to improve outcomes of individuals from Black and minority ethnic